I was going to say it turned out to be just a little bit of a blessing in disguise, though, right?
Yeah. I met my wife during that time off, and we started dating and fell in love very quickly, and got engaged within 9 months and married within a year. And so, I played the U.S. Open that year. I don't think I meet her, quite frankly, and just the timing, was right for both of us.
The 2000 Wimbledon, you said it was the worst 2 weeks of your tennis career, and you almost quit. Why?
I, for some reason, irritated my shin. I don't know how, or I went for a run, and I think I just maybe irritated something, and I felt it against Kuchera in the second round, and basically it hurt to walk. And it took an MRI, and I had some fluid there that was painful to to walk on, and playing on it wasn't even a consideration. So, I was thinking about pulling out, what to do. Did acupuncture, didn't work, and basically got it injected before every match. From the third round on to the final, got injected, and the injection would last about an hour and a half. It would wear off, and then I would just have to kind of fight through the end of it. And I did that for the whole 2 weeks. It was miserable. I mean, I couldn't practice in between my matches. I was just trying not just playing it alone, but I was dealing with this injury on my days off, and trying to get it better, and icing it every couple hours, and just like it was stressful. And I hate I don't mind needles, but injections it's in a pretty extreme measure and a pretty aggressive thing to do for 2 weeks. But this is my only opportunity to play, and it was either I was going to do this or I was going to pull out. And so I did it. They injected me. It felt great, and I could walk on it fine. And went through the next day of treatment and icing, and got injected again. It was just what I was doing, and just a tough situation. Not a situation I'd want to do again. And I guess to break that record, they made it pretty tough on me, and so it was tough.
As you were aging and getting to the latter stages of your tennis career, what effect did it have on your game?
Physically, you don't recover quite as well in the morning. You feel a little bit heavier. You're not quite as hungry as you were as a 19-year-old when you're 30. It's just, you're just trying to fend off those young kids, and week in, week out, I just felt like I didn't have that sort of needing to win every match. I wanted to win majors, but week in, week out, that's why those 2 years I didn't win a title. And it's just, you kind of see the handwriting on the wall that you're maybe not, quite as good week in, week out. I could still play at that high level like I did in my mid-20s, but I didn't really have and want to do it week in, week out. And so it's just, I don't want to say it's burnout, but you just kind of, it's a tough job.
It had to be a strange feeling, because here you were at the top for so long, and not to say your game declined much, but that regardless of how hard you train, your game will inevitably start to decline.
Well, you're great. Your game might decline a little bit. Guys are getting better. Technology is getting better. Guys are getting stronger and quicker and doing all those things, and you try to stay with them, and you try to improve. You try to add things to your game, and certainly that's what I was trying to do. And what kind of kept me going on for those last couple of years was to win one more major. And I worked hard. I sacrificed again quite a bit, and I did it. I got through that U.S. Open, the last one, and won it. And that was the last fuel I had left in my tank. I was as much as I wanted to go on, maybe over the next 8 months, I knew that the end was near, and then that's when I retired.
The 2002 U.S. Open final versus Andre Agassi. What do you recall from that match?
I recall that the first couple sets were probably the two best sets that I played of the tournament, and the two best sets I played in many, many years. I just kind of got in the zone, and I think he might have been a little bit flat against Hewitt after playing Hewitt the night before. And I served great, and I was returning well, and I was playing great tennis at a level that I duplicated when I beat him in I think the 99 or 2000 Wimbledon, when I beat Andre in that Wimbledon final. And I kept playing well, and it's hard to maintain that level for a long period of time against someone like Andre. And I think he stepped it up and broke me there in the third, and then we're in a dogfight, fourth set. Physically, I was feeling it a little bit. It was my 5th match in 7 days, and just had a little bit left at the end and served for it and won it, and it was a great moment, and a great moment for us just because of our history we have for one another and the respect we have for one another. And it's fitting that it ended there against him, where it all started in '90.
Putting that all into context, you were in a 33 tournament drought. You had lost the U.S. Open. You were knocked out of Wimbledon and obviously vying for one more Grand Slam. You said that U.S. Open final versus Agassi was the best match you ever played. Why?
Yeah, it was, that U.S. Open and I think that Wimbledon was the best I've ever played, just purely as getting into the zone. And on hard court, it's definitely more difficult to get in that zone against Andre because, it's just a different surface. And so those, like I said, those first couple sets that's as good as, when I'm on, I've always felt unbeatable. And when I'm serving, and I'm serving 130 on the line up the middle, and I'm picking my spots, and I'm returning well, and I'm moving well, and I'm kind of doing the things I want to do and controlling the offense, there are times where I feel like I perfected it. And that first couple sets was as good as I can play, and he was playing great at the time. So just the situation where I came from for those 2 years after losing to Boston at Wimbledon, with no confidence and a major low point, to come back for those next 2 months and win that Open was, people were surprised and a little bit amazed that I was able to do it, but I wasn't. That's why I kept playing, because I knew I could win one more. And once I did, it was time for me to figure out what was next. I took about 8 months to figure out, am I going to play again? And once Wimbledon came and went, that's when it was time for me to move on.
Other than cyclical, what's your take on the state of American men's tennis?
I think the state is pretty good. I think it's unfair for James and Andy to be compared to what just happened in the '90s with myself and Andre and Jim. I mean, we all, we won over 20 majors. We all hit #1 in the world, and I think the American fans and media expect to see that every 10 years, and it's just it's not going to happen, and it's just kind of unfair to put that on Andy and James. It's like, okay, let's see you guys do that, and if they don't, there's always this kind of negative backlash. I think we're in good shape. Are they legends in the making like Nadal and Roger? Probably not.
How would you describe Roger Federer's ability?
Describe his ability, he's got it all. He's got the whole package. He's got the game. He's got the speed. He's got the confidence. He can do pretty much whatever he wants to do out there. He's not, he's being pushed a little bit, but he still has that extra gear to rely on that not many people have. He possesses a big first serve. He's got a great forehand. His backhand's real solid. He can come in if he wants. What he can do on the run is pretty incredible.
What will it be like playing him in November?
I'm going to have to get myself in shape and really push it a little bit harder when it comes to my training and playing. And I'm just hoping to kind of hold my own. And that's one thing I still do reasonably well is hold serve. I can still serve pretty well. And I'll try to come in a little bit and try to find some rhythm out there. And hopefully he'll be nice to me and we'll make it competitive.
In conclusion, you're in your mid-30s. You are regarded as the greatest tennis player ever to live. You're more than financially set. You have a gorgeous wife. You have 2 kids you adore. Where do you go from here?
I'm in a great place. I still trying to find things in my life to keep me motivated and don't want to ever feel content about this great career, but I'm always looking to kind of feel challenged and motivated to do something, and playing Roger in Asia is certainly a motivation for me to get in shape. But I've had a great life. I've had a lot of work and sacrifice went into it, and it was well worth it. But it's just a great place to be. I got 2 great kids that are really fill up my time and really giving me a lot of joy and bonding time with them and the wife and the whole thing, and life's been good.